the blinds behind me, the windows behind me, I love these windows because I love to watch the hummingbirds and the squirrels, although I don't like squirrels. All of the wildlife, the birds that come into our backyard, and the flowers blooming. Oh, the flowers. But anyway, but they're very bright. So it makes videoing this direction a little bit harder. But anyway, I am so glad you're here. And it is Stampin' Thursday. This has been a very busy week. We are in Vacation Bible School in our church. So every morning I have been, my husband and I have been going and serving in Vacation Bible School. Well, obviously I'm not there right now. But as soon as this video is over, I'm going to head to Vacation Bible School. And what a privilege it is to serve the children and to serve the leaders. Well, I'm in the refreshment area, and so we provide refreshments for the children and for the leaders. Anyway, so real quickly, I do want to remind you about the picnic basket challenge. And this started June 1st, and it's going to go all summer long. And every time you make a comment, well, not every comment, but every time you comment on a post, if you comment on a post, you get a ticket in the basket. If you share that post, you get another ticket in the basket. And I appreciate you doing that. If this is something that you think would interest one of your friends, share it with them. They can always just not watch it. But anyway, so if you do that, any event you attend, any purchase you make online, $35 or more, you get a ticket in the basket. And at the end of the summer, I will have a stamp set that will be awarded to whoever wins the draw. And my husband has volunteered to draw. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so be aware of that. And let me know if you're watching the replay. That counts. I appreciate you watching the replay because I know not everybody is available at 10 o'clock on Thursday mornings. There are going to be Thursday mornings I'm not available. And in fact, next Thursday morning is one of those times I will not be available on Thursday morning. So I will be doing this on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. And I'll post that as well. But just so you know, Friday morning at 10 o'clock next week. So I just wanted to remind you about the picnic basket challenge. I'm going to put my picnic basket right back over here. And we're going to get on with our demonstration today. I chose the Beautiful Shapes dies to demonstrate a beginner, a casual, and an avid card maker because it's hard to do all three levels with just dies. So I wanted to demonstrate that. It's so much easier to use stamps because you can step up the stamping process, but dies is a little harder. So let's get right to it. Let me turn us down and we're going to get started. All right, here is the Beautiful Shapes die set that we're going to use. And this die set gives lots of possibilities for layering, for creating with different types of shapes. It has the hexagons and what are these? Trapezoids, triangles, circles, and these odd shapes here are great for sentiments, and of course these banners are great for sentiments too. So this is what we're going to work with today. I've done, I think, all of the die cutting. So I didn't want to take time doing that. So I've done all that already. And today I'm using the hexagon shapes. So let's get started. here is your beginner card. Your beginner card, I just used a simple card base, and I cut out hexagons from crumb cake and one pattern paper with the Evening Evergreen, and this is from the 21-23 in color designer series paper. So I just place these in somewhat of a pattern on the card, and I just cut a strip for my sentiment piece, and I bannered the end of it and stamped Happy Birthday on it. To give this a little more interest, something that I did as a card maker early on, before I had lots of tools, is I used a pen and just made dots or dashes around the edge. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but it dresses it up just a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure that you can even see it. There you can. Yeah, I saw it go by there a minute ago. There you go. So I used that to just add a little bit more to this card front. So that's our beginner card. Here is our casual card. And for this one, I added another layer. I did a sort of a pennant banner looking thing. And I did use the same die cut, but I added a couple of extra patterns and spaced those out just a little bit. I did the same thing though with my sentiment piece. I just cut a strip. This one just happens to be a little bit wider, and stamped Happy Birthday on it. And then I added some twine. I forgot to say that inside this one, I just added a couple of the little pieces. On this one, again, I used my pen. I added 3 pieces, but then I just did some swirlies around the edge just to dress it up a little bit. All right, so our beginner card, our casual card, and then here is something the avid stamper might do. So I've added another layer. I added this piece, the card front, and I have my banner still, but I also distressed the edges of this piece and of my card front, as well as all of the crumb cake pieces. I distressed those with, I believe it was crumb cake ink and my ink dauber. I also used my larger, this crumb cake size, but then I cut my pattern paper out of the smaller die, and I'll show you on this set. This is the one I used for my crumb cake pieces, but then this one cuts out 2 at a time, a size smaller than this. So I used those to cut out the smaller pieces and just arranged them on top of the crumb cake pieces. Another thing I did to step it up a little bit was I raised with dimensionals this one and this one. So I raised those up with dimensionals. Instead of just a single bow, I wrapped, first of all, you can't really see it, but I did wrap the twine around this banner piece before I put it down. And then I added a double bow on top. And then I added some gems. I used the banner piece, the label piece, this one right here. I used it to cut out my label. Now, I could have, well, I'll show you that when I do it in a minute. This is the card I'm going to demonstrate. So for the inside, I just added these 2 pieces with the center, the pattern paper. All right, so you can see you really have to begin to be creative to use just dies. I could think of a lot of things that I could do with stamps too. But this is with dies. So here's your beginner, here's your casual, and here is your avid. And you can see how each one is stepped up just a little bit more. And you could go even further. But this is the way I chose to demonstrate these cards. All right, and we're going to make the avid card because it entails the same techniques as the beginner and the casual. We're just stepping it up a little bit. All right. So let's get started with this. See if I've got room to set this right over here. This is my blog, and it will be a while today before I actually transfer this video and the complete instructions over to my blog, because I'll be leaving here and going straight to VBS. But this is my blog where you can find every demonstration that I do, every card that I put on any website, YouTube or my group page or my business page. You'll find the directions, the measurements, everything on my blog. So if you join my blog, then you get a ticket. If you follow my blog, you'll get a ticket. And if you comment on my blog, you'll get a ticket as well. So lots of ways to earn tickets. All right, here we go. We used a, what is this? This is soft suede, soft suede card base. And I'm just gonna give it a fold and crease it. And then the card front is Sahara sand, because I wanted some distinction between the crumb cake and the card front. So I chose to use Sahara sand. So before I adhere it down, I'm going to use my dauber and my crumb cake ink. And I'm going to distress this piece just a little bit. So I'm just going to go around the edge of it. Just give it a little bit of a dirty look. I don't want it to come off too dark, and so I daub off a little bit. I always like to get the corners a little bit darker. All right, so there we've distressed that. So while I'm distressing, I'm going to go ahead and distress my hexagon, my crumb cake hexagons. Let's see, I'll put that right there so that I'll remember. That way, I don't have to keep opening this ink back up. So you can see these daubers just do a great job of distressing these products. And this one I've already distressed, and it's already on there. All right. So if you're watching the replay on this, I just want you to know how much I appreciate it. And I love to know if you're watching the replay. So if you just comment, you know, I'm here for the replay, or thanks for the replay, and if you want to give a thumbs up, man, that's awesome. That it just helps the number of people that get to view my Facebook Live. So any interaction that you do is so appreciated. All right. I'm going to go ahead. No, I'm not. Well, yeah. This is going to be my sentiment piece. But I'm going to die cut it. But maybe if I distress enough of it. I'm not sure I did it on this. I don't think I did. So I'll do it on this. Just a little bit extra step there. All right. I also distress, but I'm going to cut it first. So I'm going to wait on that. So I'm going to cut this piece first, and it looks like, I should have measured this beforehand. It is 4.5 inches long. So I'm going to get my trimmer and cut it at 4.5 inches. And then I'm going to banner it. So just right in the middle, I'll do a snip. And then from the corner to the top of that snip, from the corner to the top of that snip, gives you a banner. Now I'm going to distress this. This is not going to show up as easily, so I'm not going to stamp it off. I could do it on here, and it might even be a little easier. I don't know. I think it gets the edge more if I do it like this. Okay. Now, another thing I did, which you would not notice as much, but I did distress it by roughing up the edges a little bit. And so I just did a little bit there. See, I'm going to have to come back. And I pulled a little off of that. I distressed it down here just a little bit. There we go. Roughed it up. And I think I'll do it right down here a little bit. Just give it a little bit of a tear. Rough up the edges a little bit. All right. So now I'm going to come back and distress. Get all those little pieces off. Distress this a little bit so it'll okay. Because you want that part to be darker. All right. So now we have distressed that. We're done with the crumb cake. And now we're going to tie out, before we attach it, we need to tie our, and I think I tied it around twice. So you see that this comes off really curly. And so you can take your scissors or your bone folder and you can straighten it out by doing that, and that really helps. So I'll wrap this. I'm going to put some adhesive on the back, right about where I'm going to attach it, and I'm going to attach it down, and then I'm going to wrap it a couple of times. I know. It down to the sticky tape and cut it off. And now we're ready to adhere this. Okay. So right in the center. There we go. And now we're going to need more of this. And I think I'll wait to tie my bow, but I'll go ahead and straighten that out a little bit, and it'll be ready for us. All right. So we've got this now ready to attach to our card base. Make sure it's going the right direction. Attach this. Center it. There we go. Now, it's time to attach our Designer Series paper pieces, and these are from Sun Prints and from the Pretty Prints and from the 21-23 in color Designer Series paper. So I just looked for papers that coordinated. The Evening Evergreen, the Soft Succulent, this is Bermuda Bay, and they all kind of coordinate. So I'm going to use my liquid glue for this. And put this piece down. It doesn't take much. And I just want to get it there we go. Get that one done. And I need this one. I already have this one done. So I need this one. Put this one on here. I have to readjust them to get them centered. Okay. Whoops. The liquid glue allows you to move it around, but you have to be careful because it'll move when you're not intending for it to move. All right, these will not be exactly the same. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I try to do things in odd numbers because supposedly design-wise that is more pleasing to the eye. So that's why I have 5 rectangle or 5 hexagons. There's a sticky spot right there. So each hexagon sticks. Okay, what do I need? I just need another one of these. So I'll do this. Looking to see what's on the back of these. You could use any pattern paper, Designer Series paper scraps that you have to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and glue a couple of these on for the inside. Might as well do that while we're here. Get this one glued on. Okay. And one of the Bermuda Bay pieces. All right, we're going to set those aside until we need them. All right. So now we're going to begin arranging. And I'm just going to kind of do it in a similar manner as this, as the sample here. And I'm leaving a space in between each one. Whereas on the other cards, I put them closer together. All right. There we go. That's the way I want them. So now I'm just going to start attaching them, and I'll raise 2 of them with dimensionals. Hopefully I'm getting these even. And this is one of the raised ones, so I'll use dimensionals on the back of it. Just a couple of them is all we need. going to put it right here. There. Then this one is glued down. And it's going to go over at least one of the pieces of twine. And I'm going to separate these just a little bit. There. They really don't show, but they're there nonetheless. All right, and then this one is going to be raised. So we're going to use 2 more dimensionals. Oh, and it's going to go right here. Right there. And then this last one is going to be glued down. Right here. Get it even with the bottom. Hopefully. There we go. All right. So we've got our pattern. Now we're going to do our double bow. And I have a video on YouTube demonstrating the double bow. How to do the double bow. So you can look that up. And actually on my blog, I'll have a link to that video. But so I'm not doing an instructional piece now. I'm just going to do the double bow. And we'll go ahead and cut this. My fingers, I've said this before, don't work real great. So it takes me a minute to grab hold of everything. But it'll get done. It'll happen here in just a minute. All right. Make sure I have the right piece. I let go. There. All right. Then I'm going to make sure it's the size I want it and pull it. Tighten it up. There's my double bow. Be sure and go watch that video because I do it several times and give complete instructions. So I'm going to cut there and there. I'm going to use a glue dot to put this on the card. Here we go. And it's going to go right there. It's a little different spacing, but that's all right. All right, the next thing we're going to do is our sentiment. And I have not cut it. So I'm going to use this piece right here to cut my sentiment. So I'm going to get my mini cut and emboss out. Put it on there. Send it through. All right. Take it off. Put my plates away. So here we have it. Our sentiment piece. Now, I was alluding to this earlier. You could also back that with the next size with the other one, but I didn't do that because I didn't want to cover up too much of my hexagons. So I chose not to do that, but you could do that. And my stamp, I'm going to use Evening Evergreen. It's just a happy birthday. I'm going to do it this way, and then I'll turn it around. There we go. Happy birthday. You could also use early espresso. I think I might have used early espresso here. All right, we're going to hang it off the edge of this one that's popped up. So I need to pop up the end of this. Oh, you know what I did? I got ink on my finger, and if I don't take care of it right now, it'll end up on the card. All right. So then I'm going to put glue right in here where it sits on top of this hexagon. So it's going to sit right there. And I have to turn it over to see if it's straight. And even then, it might not end up straight. Looks like I did get, but that's okay. It just looks distressed. I did get some ink on there, but it doesn't even show. All right. We've done everything except the gems, and these are retired gems. I could have used most anything that's new, but I really liked the way these looked. So I chose to use them, and I'll use my Take a Pick tool to get them onto the card. I'll put one right there. And I'm going to put one right in here. And one right down here. There we go. And I used 2 different sizes. You could go any direction you want. So all we have left is the inside. And there again, I should have distressed it. But I didn't. So let's distress it real quick. All right. That's good enough. That didn't take long, did it? And we'll put our 2 pieces on here. There again, you could do more, but I chose not to do that for the inside. I just chose to leave it this way. There again, without stamps, it's harder. I love to stamp the inside of my card. I could have used some of the pattern paper along one of the edges. I could have done that, but I really liked the hexagons. So I chose to go that route. All right, we're ready to put this one inside. Give you your space to write a note to the person you're sending this beautiful card to. There we go. So now we have our own stepped up version, the Avid version of the cards that I showed you right from the beginning. Here's the beginner card. Here's the casual card. And the Avid card that we just made. So no matter what level you are, if you're a beginner, then if you're ready to step up your cards just a little bit, then just add a few more patterns and maybe put one layer underneath this. Add some twine or some ribbon. And that alone steps up your card. And then if you're a casual card maker, but you're ready to step it up a little more, then add another layer. So I've got 2 layers on top of the card front, the card base, and add a little more pattern to your hexagons and add some dimension by popping them up. And then instead of just trimming your sentiment piece, use the die and add some features to that. Add your double bow instead of just a single bow. Wrap your banner piece and add some stones. Lots of ways to step up from beginner to casual and casual to avid. All right. I hope you've enjoyed. Oh, I do want to show you a few samples using the Beautiful Shapes dies. So here's another one using the hexagons. I just tried to do something different with them and using the pieces. One of the dies, this one here, actually cuts the pieces. So you can add dimension and interest by adding a piece over your hexagon. So there's that one. This one used the circles. I don't know if you can see the gold in those circles, that paper. Isn't that pretty? Then this one, I cut the hexagon and I used 2 of the hexagons to create a frame. And then I put that frame sort of around and over and under this hexagon. Just something a little different. But that's one thing that you can do with any of these is if you cut 2 of them together, then you will create a frame or a piece like this. And you can do that with your hexagons, with your circles. You could even do it with this, with banner pieces if you wanted to. All right. Then lastly, our grandson is at Camp Sweeney. He's a type 1 diabetic. And he's at Camp Sweeney. And he'll be there for 3 weeks. And that's a long time for him to be away from his family. He's never been away from his family for very long because of his diabetes. And so I've been trying to make a card and send it to him every day. And this is the card I made for him today. He's an 11-year-old boy. So I'm having to reach back to older sets to come up with cards that are appropriate for an 11-year-old boy. So this is the one I'm sending him today. And we're just trying to encourage him to be strong and have fun. And I thought this was You're the Beast. I thought that was really good. But I showed you this to show you that I used my circles to create the frame for my sentiment piece. All right. So there you go. You've got your beginner, your casual, and your avid cards, and some samples to do them. So with the Beautiful Shapes dies. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a blessed weekend.